Hello YouTube, what is up? First things first, I have a really cool video for you guys today. I was looking through like people that I subscribe to on YouTube, and I saw that like a lot of them were doing these videos where they are talking about themselves. So I went through some tag lists and I found some questions that I wanted to answer for you guys. And so this is what I'm going to do for you guys for now. My makeup is just going to be really simple. Stay tuned. Thank you so much for clicking the video, for subscribing to me. I hope you liked the video. Don't forget to leave me a comment and give me a thumbs up if you like my weird self. Yeah, so let's get to it. The first question. What's my favorite movie? My favorite movie, well, I have like a few favorite movies just because I watch movies a lot. Because other than that, I'm just working or doing makeup. But some of my favorite movies would have to be The Book of Life. I really like the songs, the animation, and the stories in that movie. And oh, if I'm looking for like a cheesy chick flick, Endless Love is like one of my favorite movies. The next question is, am I dating? Of course I'm dating. I have a boyfriend. We've been together for almost 4 years. It's actually his birthday today too. So we're gonna hang out a little later today. That's kind of what I'm getting ready for. Our anniversary is in September, and he's just like a really great guy all the way around. I'll tell you guys how we met. One day we were dropping off my cousin for work, and I just see Kevin through the windows. And I'm like, oh, he's cute. And my cousin was like, oh, he looks like a homeless guy. And I was like, what? And like, I found out later that that was just because he had been on bed rest for a surgery that he had. So he had just gotten off of that. And you know, when you go on bed rest, you kind of don't really have the energy or the time to really like take care of yourself aside from like the basics. So I don't hold it against him. And then one day we were hanging out, me and my cousin, and she gets a Snapchat from Kevin, and he had sent her a picture of my yearbook photo calling me cute. And I was like, Christina, wouldn't it be so funny if we replied and I was in the picture? So we did. I asked him like what happened, like how did he react. He said that he looked at his phone and he just like, he was like, what? We started talking on Facebook, and the messages are like really funny. When I added him, I sent him a message of like, we're very corny people. We're like very, very dorky. You know that episode in SpongeBob where he goes to the jellyfish convention and he's just like so in awe of Kevin, you know? So I sent him the SpongeBob meme of him saying, hi Kevin. And then he sent me back one of the sea cucumber, and the rest is history. By then I knew I was a goner. I actually had a day off coming up recently after that had happened. And I knew his days off because my cousin worked with him, obviously. And I was like, hey, like, do you want to go to the fair with me? So we had our first date at the fair. And of course he said yeah. So that's kind of how we met. And he's a really great person. We work really well together. He has helped me grow a lot, and I love him. The next question is, how did I get into makeup? My intentions when I first started posting on social media were not to like get into makeup. That was kind of just like something that came with how I was posting. I got a lot of comments from a lot of people telling me that my eyebrows were really good, and they're like, oh, you should start posting makeup, you should start doing makeup. I did. I started posting little tiny makeup looks. You can probably scroll through my Instagram feed and find like my very first ones, which were not that great. Makeup has brought me so much more confidence. I have more people skills because of makeup. I was just a person that like really stuck to my ways. I didn't like pushing myself out of my comfort zone. I wasn't very social, kind of kept to myself. Makeup really brought me out of my shell, and I never looked back. I've been doing makeup for about like 4 or 5 years, and like formally on people I've been doing makeup for about 2.5 years. The next question is, how old am I? I am 22, but I'm going to turn 23 this month on the 29th. So I wish me a happy birthday. What advice do you have for someone who is thinking about makeup and influencing? You have to be comfortable with the fact that, like, you're going to be watched publicly. You can choose to have like aspects of your life private. You can be very public about things, or you can just post your makeup and go. Don't be afraid of the fact that there's going to be some attention on you. What I'm trying to say is, like, when I started posting my makeup, a lot of people from my area, like, there were some people that were very supportive, but I also had like people making jokes about me, like telling me that I would never be anything. There was this one time when I was at work and you know, like, sometimes you don't feel like doing your makeup, and someone recognized me and they're like, why aren't you ready? Why aren't you wearing anything? Like as if like it was any of their business. And I was like, I just didn't feel like getting ready. Like, don't be afraid of that, you know? Like, you are who you are and own it. When it comes to like makeup and skill, like, I want you guys to know that that comes with time, with practice. Just because you're not creating all of these fancy, crazy looks doesn't mean you won't be in the future. Obviously, you have to have some like level of skill and talent for it. Otherwise, the drive for it is not going to be there. Like, you have to really want it. But like, your dedication to learning things and to experimenting and trying things and pushing yourself out of your comfort zone is something that you can learn, something that you can do. So if you've ever had somebody tell you that like you'll never be good enough, they don't know that. You don't know that. You can try. My advice would mainly be just to like not pay attention to the people that try to talk you down, that try to do all of those nasty things that aren't supportive. Focus on the people that do support you. Don't be afraid to put yourself out there, and be open to learning. Listen to people that give you really good feedback, because that's great also. What are my current favorite makeup products? Right now, some of my favorite products would have to be the Studio Fix powder. I really like it because it's like a full coverage powder. Clearly, I've used a lot of it, and it has this like skin smoothing effect, so it's really great for touch-ups and like evening out your texture almost. Like, when I wear it on top of my makeup, I notice that my pores are like non-existent. What is your favorite food? My mom's family is Salvadorian. A few of my favorite foods would have to be like pupusas. Those are amazing. It has beans, it has cheese, it has pork, and you can put like a bunch of other stuff in it, but like me, that's what I grew up eating. My abuelita, actually, she would teach us, and like all of us really got to learn with her. She taught me, she taught my sisters. It's kind of something that's been like passed down, and we all enjoy them from time to time. Do I speak any other languages? I only speak Spanish. Solo hablo español. I grew up speaking Spanish. My grandparents kind of made sure of that, and I'm really thankful for it. Another question. Where do I see myself in 5 years? I think in 5 years, I'd want to see myself, I just would like to be secure. But I know that I want more for myself, so that's kind of like my answer to that. I've been very open about my struggles with like anxiety, depression, stress, and stuff like that. But this question is, how do I deal with stress and anxiety? I have really bad anxiety. It's gotten a lot better. Whenever I was anxious, I would channel that stress into like me rubbing my eyebrows or me pulling out the hair in my eyebrows. Luckily, my eyebrows have come like a really long way. I used to like shut down, I used to isolate myself, and I just like, I didn't try. And when I graduated high school, and you know, like I found makeup, I really started coming out of that like holding up in my bed. I stopped letting my mind wander. I learned to identify like what my triggers were. I learned how to channel a lot of that frustration, a lot of that like thoughts running 1,000 miles per hour into makeup looks. And luckily, like, I have a very supportive family, a very supportive boyfriend, so Kevin kind of keeps an eye on like when I do it, and he'll kind of like tell me to stop, or he'll ask me like what's wrong, like let's talk about it. I'm really happy that I have an outlet for that type of stuff, just because I really don't know what would have happened to me if I didn't have the support system that I did, and if I wouldn't have found makeup the way that I did. What's the best and worst job you've ever had? The best job that I've had so far is my job at Ulta. I don't remember my timeline exactly, but I got hired as a beauty advisor. And at the time that I started, I had seen that we had a MAC counter, and I was so excited. Like, I got the interview, they knew that I had makeup experience and all that good stuff. And maybe about like a few weeks after I started, I noticed that they were putting me out on the sales floor a little bit more. I was like, okay, whatever, I guess. Eventually they started putting me into the prestige side as like support for the counters, and I thought it was so cool. Like, you know, I had only been working there for a short amount of time, and you know, it felt good to kind of see some payoff for all of the times that I had gone in super early, that I had volunteered to work. Even at like the last 5 minutes, they would call me for like a shift to come cover someone, and I was like, yes, give me the shift, I want to work. My manager comes to me and she's like, hey, do you want to interview for MAC? And I was like, yeah, I want to interview for MAC. Are you serious? I had my interview with her, and then they set up my like technical, my little makeup demo with my MRSO for MAC. Her name is Ashley. She's amazing. I was like so scared, so nervous. And then she just told me, okay, we'll be contacting you. And I was like, that's it? Really? I go back to work, and literally like 2 weeks pass by, and she's like, I'm like looking at my manager, I'm like, so? And she's like, I don't know, we're still interviewing. I haven't made up my mind yet. And I was like, woman. And then a few days later, I get a phone call from them, and they told me that I got the position. I honestly love it. MAC under Ulta is very different. Like, I've heard that they're like, oh, you're not real MAC. But I personally feel that like in the experiences that I've had with like my trainings, I've gotten to go to 2 trainings at the training facility in San Francisco, and I feel like in the trainings and like the interactions that I've had with a lot of other trainers, I feel like so at home. I used to work at a pizza place, and that was like my first job, but like I was not treated very well there. I can't, you know, grow if I don't get the opportunity to grow. I was like, how are you gonna get mad at me for being slow at making pizza when you don't let me go out and make pizzas? I put in my 2 weeks notice, and like it was really sad because some things had happened to the owners, and they kind of wanted me to stay a little longer, but I couldn't put up with it at that point. I was like, no. I went and turned in my uniform, which sucks because I think like they had some important people there that day, and they saw me walk in and turn in my uniform, and I felt like poo, but I was just not happy at that job, like, at all. So I left, and I never looked back. What's the weirdest thing you've been told about yourself? I have like a very old soul. Like, someone told me that I'm very like nurturing, they feel like that's what they could feel for me, that like they could tell that I've been through a lot. And like, this person did not even know me. She had no idea who I was, nothing, and she like read me down to a T without even knowing me. Yeah, those are like the weirdest things that I've been told. My last question is, what advice would you give your younger self? I wish that more younger, like high school wise, that I would have taken school a little more serious, to not really care about what people think about you either, because that was a big thing for me growing up. Like, I was very self-conscious. I was just really along those lines, so just to be more confident. So yeah, that's the end of this. I had a lot of fun making it, and I hope you guys continue watching, and I'll see you guys next time.